Welcome to the Holistic Wealth and Health Podcast. Your co-hosts, Jason Smith and Brian Bibbo, will inspire and teach you how to prosper in your mind, body, and spirit, not just your financial life. Joining forces with field experts, Jason and Brian are here to help you focus on what matters most in your life, living well.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Wealth and Health Podcast. I am your host today, Matt Seitz, Chief Marketing Officer here at JL Smith. Our topic today, financial readiness in times of uncertainty, lessons from government shutdown. With us today, our guest, Joe Voellm. Joe, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So Joe is a senior wealth manager here at JL Smith, who brings a disciplined, service-first mindset to retirement planning. He spent 8 years on active duty in the United States Marine Corps before turning his focus to helping families build and protect their financial futures. He's passionate about meaningful relationships, believes the best time to act is right now, and dedicates time to supporting the disabled veteran community outside of the office. Thank you for joining us again, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Joe, we know this is a timely topic right now, obviously just kind of coming out of the so let's hope it's the end of the shutdown. I know it could be looming. They kind of bought us that time frame until January 30th. But when events like a government shutdown happen, they can remind us how quickly financial stability can feel uncertain, the topic of today. From your perspective, what did this event reveal about the importance of being financially prepared?
Yeah, absolutely. So in general here, when there's a government shutdown, certainly for like federal employees, I myself was in the Marines during a shutdown. I was actually in Iraq in that moment. So it was something new to me. But generally, it's to be financially prepared is really the key aspect here. And if you're a federal employee and there's a government shutdown, it really should awaken you to, certain things. The main thing is cash flow, and we're the only species on our planet that has to pay to live on the planet we were born on. Cash flow is certainly, important. The government shutdown really didn't affect safety, security, military, and postal. And there's a few outlying, kind of people out there that weren't really affected by the government shutdown. But it's cash flow. Whether you're pre-retirement or in retirement, when you simmer everything down, having access to cash and capital, is certainly important. I would generally say, I run into a lot of federal employees that are super, super diligent about putting money into the TSP, IRAs, Roth accounts, that sort of thing. But if there's a government shutdown and all of a sudden, there's no income coming in, pulling money from those accounts can certainly be problematic. Another thought is, do you really want all of your money tied up in employer-sponsored retirement plans or qualified accounts? You really should start looking at, building a proper emergency fund or a comfort fund, or think about, accounts that you could access pre-59.5 without penalty, as just another way to hedge against this kind of moment.
Got it. Well, the first part of your answer there proves kind of that old adage is still true, right? Cash is king.
Absolutely.
So what specific concerns have you found that have come up, whether it be from federal or non-federal employees in regards to the government shutdown?
Yeah, so a lot of federal employees, it's kind of like almost like a year-long thing. So as far as federal employees this year go, there's been a lot happening, right? Where deferred resignation programs, VSIPs, VERAs, hiring freezes, reduction in forces, mass layoffs, and you're not vested under 5 years, you're certainly on the chopping block, that sort of thing. And then like it all just kind of culminated into this government shutdown. A lot of people were certainly nervous. The main thing that I have found as far as concerns go is, hey, are we going to go from a high 3 to a high 5 on our pension calculation? Are we getting rid of the Social Security supplement if you retire fully eligible before age 62? Is there going to be higher contribution rates to the FERS pension, that sort of thing? It's and then of course cash for your just normal lifestyle. So it's, hey, is it still a safe place to continue your career in the federal government? These things are really, being questioned these days, in my opinion.
Yeah, and obviously that's what creates a lot of this uncertainty. So the federal employees that often face unique financial situations like steady income, pensions, but then have limited flexibility during shutdowns. What are some of the learnings we can gain from how federal employees navigated this period of missed paychecks and uncertainty?
Yeah. So this is one of the, it's almost feels like a reoccurring theme. I kind of touched on it earlier, is like having a correct emergency fund or a comfort fund. So an emergency fund is that academic 3, 6, 9, 12 months of operating expenses, that sort of thing. But other people might subscribe to like the comfort fund, philosophy is, what exactly do you need in the bank revolving every single day for you to just be able to sleep at night? Everybody's number is different. Some people might say, if they're a federal employee, as we know, federal employees have very, very strong guaranteed income basis, Social Security, FERS pension, SERS pension, military pension, maybe a union pension on the outside, VA disability income. There's just so much. There's a lot more guaranteed income for a federal employee. But maybe that person in retirement might say, you know what, I really only need, 2, 5, 10 grand every single month for me to be able to sleep at night. Maybe a non-federal employee might say, with very low or less guaranteed income, say, hey, I need significantly more than those numbers for me to be able to sleep at night. Maybe understanding your comfort fund number or subscribing to the emergency fund number or philosophy might be best. Certainly prudent to take a look. I would also say that if you're trying to get some kind of service from Office of Personnel Management, TSP, Social Security, Medicare during a government shutdown, you will find that that is very problematic. So it is certainly important to take a proactive approach so that you don't end up needing these departments to help you out from a service perspective in a government shutdown.
Yeah. You don't want to have to rely on anyone else, whether that's someone else, a bank, the government pensions, things like that. So, and I like that you said, kind of everyone has their own numbers. So if having an emergency fund for situations like this is so important, but can be hard for some people to build up, how do you help your clients strengthen their short-term financial safety net?
Yeah. So one of the things that my clients and I always do is a budget analysis. This is not me saying, hey, you got to stop going to Starbucks. These cups of coffee are killing you. We got to know essentially cash inflow and then what your lifestyle represents on a cash outflow basis. Once we can account for these dollars, then we essentially know where the dollars are going and we can better plan around these dollars. Yeah, realistically, you should have essentially a goal attached to every dollar, in my opinion, whether it be to spend it or save it. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I like what you say there about having and I think you've shared that with me before, like having a goal of every dollar that you have and not only spend or save, but even when you're saving, what accounts those go into. So, um, certainly a key takeaway for everyone there, and something that, everyone hopefully that's listening is considering reaching out to you to have that discussion of what you mean about that. But so when the headlines like they are right now are and really have been for a while, but this one just happened to be recently about the shutdown. When the headlines are full of uncertainty, like the shutdown, how can people stay focused on their long-term financial goals without making reactionary moves that might cost them in the long run?
Yeah. So my best clients don't mix the money with the emotion. It is totally
Which is not easy to do. Yeah.
it's very not easy to do, but you certainly want to try your best to uncouple those two things, because more often than not, if you make emotional decisions and there's money involved, you don't end up on the right side of it. Um, what I certainly tell all my clients is, hey, stick to the financial plan that we built, fundamentals, and we've been here before. So this too shall pass.
And when you're explaining that, Joe, kind of a pivot from that question too is, do you find that emphasizing the bucket plan process helps explain that about, like you said, this too shall pass, of how that relates back to their bucket plan?
Right. So if we've built out a fully comprehensive financial plan that solves for their goals and objectives, concerns and priorities, which and the cornerstone of all that is the bucket plan. We have the now bucket, safe and secure, no risk on this money, ready to go, for times like these. Then we also would then create a soon bucket, which is for the creation of income and or withdrawals as needed. And then everything else, if not captured in the now bucket, not captured in the soon bucket, gets cascaded into the later bucket, meant for long-term growth. You're taking on as much risk as you can possibly tolerate on that money because you don't actually need it anytime soon. Money will do exactly what it's supposed to do if left undisturbed and given time. So if we end up depleting, the now bucket to uncomfortable levels, well, if we have a financial plan in place, then we can efficiently create income or engineer income from existing assets to float you for a period of time. So, yeah.
Great. Well, and I guess looking at the positive side, sometimes financial disruption can be a catalyst for positive change, such as reassessing priorities or cutting unnecessary spending or refocusing our finances. Have you seen examples where periods of uncertainty like this actually led clients to greater long-term strength and clarity?
Yeah, so absolutely. People don't typically make a change unless the pain of change is less than the pain of staying where they're at. So when people start realizing that their default plan or doing nothing is their default plan is certainly going to lead them to a painful outcome, then that's when a lot of people behaviorally just start re-looking at these things, retooling. But this year alone, more than most, I mean, for so many reasons, federal employees have been reaching out to me for me to build them comprehensive financial plans to optimize their federal benefits. Some are, that took the DRP, or maybe they had enough and they either want to retire or move, to the civilian world of things, and continue their career there, have asked me to relook at all these things. I'm not meant to replace people. I'm just essentially a member of their team. So these moments have certainly created that.
Yeah. Well, and I've heard that explained too, from our team here at JL Smith, that if you are being proactive and you've planned ahead, with someone like yourself or one of our other advisors, sometimes in these times of uncertainty, you can look at your soon bucket that you mentioned earlier that you don't need right away is the opportunity bucket, and that's the opportunity to, jump when the timing could be right, like you said, to make a change for the positive.
Yeah, absolutely. So the soon bucket can also double as like an opportunity bucket. If you weren't drawing from the soon bucket actively, or you maybe had assets that were not correlated to the market and there's a market downturn in the soon bucket, you could take advantage of a problematic maybe market here, push dollars into that moment, essentially buy more shares at a lower position. The market comes back up and you reap the reward. So the market goes up, the market goes down, market comes back up. There's nothing in our market's history that says that the market goes down and stays down forever. What goes down comes back up. And if you actually don't believe that, you should not be in the market.
Well, I guess that segues nice into one of our last questions here as we kind of land the plane. We've seen the financial uncertainty pop up a lot this past year, not just from the government shutdown, but obviously the market swings earlier this year. Amidst these, what gives you confidence about the direction that your clients are heading? And how do you see moments like this shaping smarter, more resilient investors into the future?
Yeah, so I'm a forever optimist, certainly about the future here. But when we build full financial plans, maybe we don't implement these financial plans right away, but we have them, we review them every year at annual reviews, that sort of thing, so that we would inevitably implement them in time. If a variable changes, like an input changes, because we now have a fully comprehensive financial plan, we immediately know the output, because we would run that input through the financial plan and immediately know the output. So that's what I would say here. If you're seeing this podcast and you don't have a comprehensive financial plan that solves for all your goals, concerns, and priorities here, you should get one, even though you may not implement it right away. And as far as federal employees go, we can build a federal employee benefits report that absolutely fully optimizes your pension decision, your survivor benefit decision, your TSP, FEGLI, FEHB, Federal Long-Term Care Insurance Program, and then overlaid on top of that, then would be everything else that you have going on, to include whatever is going on in your spouse's life, so that all things are coordinated and optimized, walking and talking together.
Fantastic. Well, Joe, thank you very, very much for sharing this information with us today.
No, you're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
And can certainly tell, the passion you have behind, helping your clients and other federal employees. If you are listening or watching today and you would like to speak with Joe, please go to our website, fill out a form. Our team will get on the phone with you and make sure that we're setting you up for that conversation with Joe, so he can help you build that bucket plan out and help you prepare for your financial future. Also, be sure to check out our other episodes on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the latest content from our team. Thank you, everyone, again for tuning in, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Holistic Wealth and Health Podcast. We hope we inspired you to make changes so you can live your best life. If you want to find out more about what we do, or if you want to have a holistic wealth and health financial plan, please call 456-833-7000. Please subscribe to the podcast and share it widely with your friends and family. Financial planning and advisory services are offered through Prosperity Capital Advisors, PCA, an SEC-registered investment advisor with its principal place of business in the state of Ohio. J.L. Smith Holistic Wealth Management and PCA are separate, non-affiliated entities. PCA does not provide tax or legal advice. Insurance and tax services offered through J.L. Smith Holistic Wealth Management are not affiliated with PCA. Information received from this podcast should not be viewed as individual investment advice. Product discussions and illustrations are hypothetical in nature and will vary based on many factors, including, but not limited to, age, health, product, insurance carrier, and product design. You should consult the insurance carrier website and policy for detailed information. For information pertaining to the registration status of PCA, please contact the firm or refer to the investment advisor public disclosure website, www.advisorinfo.sec.gov. For additional information about PCA, including fees and services, send for our disclosure statement as set forth on Form ADV from PCA using the contact information herein. Please read the disclosure statement carefully before you invest or send money.